立法會
The President. Good morning, members and officials. We'll resume the meeting. Members' motion with no legislative effect. Members who wish to speak, please press the request to speak button. The Council will proceed to a debate on Mr. Hung Kam-in's motion on promoting the development of Hong Kong's silver economy to align with national strategies. Ms. Julia LAU will move an amendment to the motion. This Council will proceed to a joint debate on the motion and the amendment. I will first call upon Mr. Hon Kam-in to speak and move the motion. Then I will call upon Ms. Julia LAU to speak, but she may not move the amendment at this stage. The joint debate now begins. I now call upon Mr. Hon Kam-in to speak and move the motion. Mr. Hon Kam-in. President, I move that the motion as printed on the agenda be passed. We have seen a rapidly developing aging trend in different parts of the world. In 2035, in the mainland, we have over 80 million elderly persons. In 2046, in Hong Kong, 1 in every 3 people would be one age 65 years old or above. We have seen a continuous growth in silver consumption. Recently, the amount is 342.1 Hong Kong dollars. In 2035, it will go up to 396.1 billion dollars. We have a Chinese poem that says how the silver group would have great potential for consumption. They have rich experience. We should learn from them as well. Silver economy is not a sunset industry. There are great opportunities to tap into. The National 15 Five-Year Plan also says we should actively respond to population aging. Silver economy is not to be regarded as elderly economy. It is about sharing economy. It is about the future of every family. It is also impetus for growth and transformation of the city. We should dovetail with national strategies and promote silver economy. The Chief Executive's 2024 policy address talks about establishing the working group on promoting silver economy, and last year 30 measures were announced by the working group. Different policy bureaus will work with different trades to promote silver economy, with the foundations laid by the working group. However, the working group is not a standing body. We have also room for improvement for issuance of bonds and setting up of a platform for coordination. We also need to set up an economic cooperation platform in the Greater Bay Area because we don't have a unified coordination mechanism. I have been actively promoting the cooperation on the two sides on promotion of silver economy. Recently, I held a seminar to have experts discuss different issues relating to the promotion of silver economy. I am also a representative for the Nansha Guangzhou. I specifically am a consultant for Economic Cooperation Association in the Greater Bay Area. I hope to promote cooperation in practical matters so that the mainland and Hong Kong can work together to determine policy directions in coordinated development of industries. Through the Working Group on Aging Society Strategies, the government can continue to promote alignment of standards and enhancement of communication on both sides to provide better convenience for elderly in cross-boundary living. We can refer to the experience in the mainland and Japan. In 2024, the State Council promulgated a paper on developing silver economy in the country. And Japan also has dedicated legislation to promote the development of relevant industries. The government should enhance the working group perhaps to make it into a top-level structure and enhance its liaison with the mainland so that we have a policy platform that will ensure continuity of policy and enhance efficiency and coordination. The government has already promulgated models of continuous supply provision. The government should provide appropriate financial support to encourage NGOs to work together with private sector enterprises to pilot different applications of German tech and products and services. If the applications prove to be useful, we can then expand the application. In the end, we will have such products and services being provided on a self-financing basis. Hong Kong should also work with other cities of the Greater Bay Area and leverage on their respective advantages. Hong Kong has its strengths in financial and professional services as well as innovation and technology. In GBA mainland cities, they have great manufacturing capabilities and policy resources. We can work together and complement each other. Through coordinated development, we can have Hong Kong be the hub and have connections with the mainland market, and we can together develop smart elderly care and silver consumption, boosting silver economy in the Great Bay Area. In planning in Hong Kong to develop silver economy, we must make sure there are application settings. Through the Hong Kong 2030 Plus strategy and relevant fiscal policies, as well as the recommendations of the working group led by the Deputy Financial Secretary, will promote elderly-friendly facilities in the city. We will have barrier-free facilities and accessibility facilities in public and private sector projects. This will enhance the quality of living in Hong Kong. It will also encourage in planning and design of community facilities, matching of needs of the elderly. We should also have unified standards. The Council of Social Service recently worked with the General Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong to have care food GBA standards. We have seen pretty good outcomes. We also have some relevant German tax standards promulgated. We should have greater coverage for elderly care and daily living products. We also need to understand elderly persons after retirement, they will have less income. They may consume less. We have a quarter of the retired persons shown in a recent survey that are still working, but there are concerns with whether employers would want to hire them. There's also MPF contribution arrangements for 65 years old that is different. So we can perhaps promote voluntary contributions of MPF to encourage elderly persons to continue to work, to boost consumption made by them and make good use of the manpower resources. In general, silver economy has different facets, and it matters to the long-term development of the city. Hong Kong should dovetail with the National 15 5-year plan, as well as make good use of the opportunity of us promulgating our first 5-year plan to work with other GBA cities on promotion of silver economy to make this challenge into opportunities. I so submit.
And I propose the question to you that the motion moved by Mr. Hong Kam-in be passed. Ms. Julia LAU. Thank you, Madam President. I thank Mr. Hong Kam-in for moving this crucial motion. I support the silver economy in Hong Kong in alignment with our country's strategies. On this basis, I move my amendment. I hope that we can develop Hong Kong into a center for elderly care, and then we can combine health and wellness plus tourism plus culture. Mirrors Bay was rated as a model case of a beautiful bay, and that's a great moment for us to develop health and wellness projects. Starting from 2024, I started advocating this health and wellness in the GBA. I want to build on this concept so that we continue to build on this system. The outline of the 15th five-year plan proposes a proactive strategy to aging population. Healthy China and wellness and health are now part of the strategy. Among the many aspects of the silver economy, health and wellness holds huge potential. This is more than just about healthcare, it's about wellness. There's health check, there's tourism, there are many aspects to this approach. It looks after the well-being of seniors across the board. We can put together nature, the ecosystem, and tourism, and this can create jobs and drive economic growth. Hong Kong has what it takes. We have 25 country parks and 22 special zones with a total area of 4,482 square meters, and that's roughly 40% of Hong Kong's area. And that's a solid basis for health and wellness in the countryside. We can combine our outdoors and health system. This is good for seniors and also high-end tourists looking for health and wellness. To create this ecosystem and to enhance Hong Kong's appeal, here are the things the government can focus on. First, a GBA-wide mutual recognition of qualifications and alignment of protocols, and we should plan health and wellness. Now, for professional qualifications, we should seek convergence, and we should foster the cross-boundary flow of different factors of production. And we should also combine health and wellness with nature so that we can achieve a platform for health and wellness plus tourism plus culture. We should consolidate different kinds of resources in healthcare, cultural facilities so that seniors can arrange health and wellness options based on their preferences. Let's make the most of our country parks, our coastline, and our outlying islands to explore an itinerary fit for seniors. We can also combine Chinese medicine, cultural experiences, and short-term stays or sojourns for health and wellness so that we can make everything more attractive to seniors. Now, we should also make use of green energy in outlying islands so that we provide more accessible health and wellness options for seniors. We have great outlying islands. Let's make use of electric ferries run on green energy, and we combine health and wellness with culture, with tourism, so that we create something of Hong Kong characteristics and something that will have a place on the global map. And this can help seniors wind down, and this is good for their wellness, and this can also aid the green transition in tourism. This can create the health and wellness brand for Hong Kong. Health and wellness is important for people's well-being. This is key to our economy. In our first five-year plan, we should include health and wellness as well as smart mobility and green tourism. We should make this a priority. This can meet the needs of seniors for quality of life, and this can create a new growth area for our industries, and we can turn Hong Kong into something with growth momentum. I so submit. I hope members will submit my amendment.
Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development. President, I thank Mr. Hung Kam-in for moving the motion and also Ms. Julia LAU for her amendments. It gives us a chance to listen to members' views and suggestions on how to cope with an aging population and develop the silver economy. In the next 20 years, Hong Kong's population will age at an even more remarkable speed. By 2046, every 1 in 3 Hong Kongers will be 65 years old or above. That means the potential of the silver market cannot be overlooked. In response to the growing demand for silver products and services, new products and services have emerged to satisfy elderly needs. It has enhanced the living standard and also brought about opportunities for the businesses. In the 2024 policy address, the Chief Executive has announced the establishment of the Working Group on Promoting Silver Economy, led by the Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration. Since its establishment, the Working Group has been liaising the industry and the stakeholders. 30 measures to promote silver economy has been launched since last May. These 5 areas are boosting silver consumption, developing silver industry, promoting quality assurance of silver products, enhancing silver financial and security arrangements, and unleashing silver productivity. Most of the measures have achieved admirable results. The measures are jointly implemented by the policy bureaus together with sectors and institutions in the private sector. For instance, in boosting silver consumption, the CEDB has been encouraging the trade to add silver elements in exhibitions, including offering elderly concessions and a focused display of silver products. Also, the government has been co-organizing joint technology summits with the trade and promotes the exchanges between local exhibitors and the foreign and mainland counterparts, helping the trade to tap overseas opportunities. We have been helping the local businesses to tap the silver businesses in the Bay Area and overseas through e-commerce platforms. Now, in promoting quality assurance of silver products with the support of the CEDB, the general requirements of dysphagia diets for elderly care food has been formally incorporated into the list of GBA standards in September last year. The Federation of Hong Kong Industries and the Hong Kong Quality Assurance Agency have launched the Hong Kong Silver Q Mark Silver Scheme and also the Hong Kong Registration Silver Friendly Series to offer accreditation services to silver products and services. We will extend the accreditation plans to these retail markets to bring about more quality choices for silver consumers and help the trade to expand the sales network. On developing silver industry, the ITIB has been offering support to the developments of different technology industries, including germ technology. There are over 130 companies engaging in germ technology work in the Hong Kong Science and Technology Park and the Cyberport. They hire over 900 employees and have raised more than $300 million in funding. Government departments and I&T public bodies will continue to promote the development of silver industries. That includes supporting the development of germ technology by their I&T enterprises and also fostering collaboration between germ technology company and the care industries as well as the healthcare sector to align the R&D of the products with elderly people's need. This will enhance the commercialization and transformation of germ technology products. The SWD will also promote the use of these products in a home setting. In terms of enhancing silver financial and security arrangements, the FSTB has been driving the trade to launch or enhance elderly wealth management products. For example, HKMC Retire Free, savings insurance products, and also the enhancement of banks' ability to detect and prevent scams. On unleashing silver productivity, the Labor Department has launched the Re-employment Allowance Pilot Scheme, and it has recorded 75,000 applications with 46,000 successful job placements, 1/4 of which involve participants aged 60 or above. The Labor Department is now conducting a midterm review for the plan to explore measures to further encourage silver employment. To deal with the challenges brought about by the aging population, the Chief Executive has announced the establishment of the Working Group on Aging Society Strategies, led by the Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration in the 2025 Policy Address. Its membership covers representatives from all 15 bureaus. It will explore how to tap social and market forces and cross-sectoral collaboration to enhance synergies between government policies and community efforts. Now, concerning elderly care standard and mutual recognition system in the Bay Area, the list of GBA standards include relevant standards in relation to elderly care concerning the service scope and the management model of these organizations. We will encourage the trade to study a system to offer mutual recognition for these standards. President, I, together with the LWB's representatives in the Working Group Secretariat, will listen to members' views and then give consolidated reply in the closing segment. Thank you.
Mr. Gary Chen. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Hung Kam-in for moving this motion on promoting the development of Hong Kong's silver economy to align with national strategies. aging is more than about meeting the basic living needs of seniors. It is about meeting the expectations of seniors for a better life. Developing the silver economy is about making life easier, safer, and happier for seniors. We want to look after seniors' food, living, and transport needs. First, on food. Life is hard when you cannot eat, when you have a toothache. No amount of delicacy in front of you would do any good. Seniors tend to struggle with dental health. They want the food, but they cannot enjoy the food. And then there are some struggling with swallowing. So even eating is a challenge for seniors. Having a meal can become a torture for some seniors. This is where soft meals come in. This can improve seniors' well-being. Some soft meals on offer in the past were of poor quality. They were off-putting in appearance and in taste. The new soft meals on offer can mostly replicate the food they're supposed to represent. So on chicken's legs or vegetables, the texture is there, the taste is there. This can improve the appetite of seniors. And that can also allow seniors to have a meal together with their family members. This is a luxury for some seniors. Last October, there was a care food standard issued by the GBA. Hong Kong drafted this GBA standard. There were 9 standards in such elderly-friendly care food, and that's also filling the gap left in the mainland's industry. So our food industry should work with the mainland and come up with similar standards. We should work on training, we should promote the care food, so that we can create this entire ecosystem of age-friendly care food. Now on living, the worst thing that can happen to seniors is a fall. So we will need sensors, lighting at night, grab rails, and anti-slippery tiles in the bathroom. All that costs a sizable amount of money. The Housing Authority offers installation free of charge for seniors who can provide the medical proof. This is passive. In Shenzhen, they have made this an industry. Back in 2025, Shenzhen launched an upgrading initiative for seniors at home. Installing such anti-slip tiles or grab rails at home will be subject to a 30% subsidy from the government, capped at 10,000 RMB. So the Shenzhen government is being more proactive. Whereas in Hong Kong, we only act when we spot a problem. That 10,000 RMB subsidy also stimulates the sale of such equipment, and that's giving rise to an entire industry chain. Replicating that approach here will be good for our seniors. This can stimulate the economy. Finally, on commuting, the 2-tiered public transport concessionary fare is a positive move. So let's not make any further change to this move, so that seniors can be out and about, if they can talk to their family members, if they can visit their grandkids, and be more socially active by, for example, volunteering. And this is good for their well-being. My point is that the silver economy isn't about making money out of seniors. It's about improving the lives, improving the lot of seniors. Thank you. Ms. Ilinchik. President, I support Mr. Hong Kam-in's motion on developing Hong Kong's silver economy to align with national strategies. The outline of the National 15th Five-Year Plan expressly proposes a proactive strategy in response to an aging population. The goal is to build an elderly-friendly society by 2035 so that seniors can live with dignity and they get choices. The aging population is just as bad in Hong Kong. We have to see beyond see this issue beyond the welfare lens. Under one country, two systems, we're aligned with global practice. We're closely linked to our country. We have what it takes to be a connector, to be a bridge. For our silver economy to thrive, we have to work on convergence of rules, industry, and connecting market. First, on standards. We now see a siloed approach. We don't see a generally applicable protocol. Take care homes. We have care homes divided into different care levels. In the mainland, they look at fees, facilities, and other systems. So you cannot compare care homes in Hong Kong and those in the mainland apple to apple. So that leads to an asymmetry in information and higher risk for families of seniors. The government set up a working group on aging society strategies. That's a good step forward, but we have to go beyond studies. They will have to come up with specific suggestions. We need a cross-checking mechanism for the rating of care homes. We should strive for mutual recognition of standards. Only clear standards can foster a healthy market, and that will give seniors options. On industries, Hong Kong has the right conditions, but the development is more on the fragmented side. The silver economy should be more than just about care homes and healthcare. There should be health management, fintech, and social support. On smart aging, we need a more proactive approach to make greater use of the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence to monitor the health, full alert, teleconsultation. On finance, we need more annuity products for seniors and also long-term care insurance. At the community level, we need more aging-in-place support such as barrier-free facilities and a community care network. The government needs to guide the development. This includes providing subsidies for pilots, fostering cross-disciplinary collaboration so that the healthcare sector and the social welfare sector can work together and we can have an industry ecosystem. On markets, the Greater Bay Area holds huge potential. There's a huge population and there's a growing demand for quality services. Focusing on our own market will hold us back. There are already some cross-boundary aging projects, but they have yet to take off. We need a more systematic approach where Hong Kong provides the services making use of venues in the mainland. So this means Hong Kong operators can provide the service and manage the services and make use of the bigger spaces in the mainland. That will offer more options for seniors. We also need policies to go hand in hand. We should expand the scope of the elderly healthcare vouchers. We should make it easier for seniors from Hong Kong to access services in the mainland so that we can achieve free flow of people, money, and services. The silver economy is more than just about the economy. It's about how we cope with the aging population. We get that right, we can improve the lot of seniors, and we can also find new growth areas of Hong Kong. Failure in getting this right will only lead to a further strain on public finances. We have the right conditions. We simply need the will, and the ability to execute everything right. We need a breakthrough. We should merge everything. We should align with our country's strategy. The silver economy will be a key pillar of Hong Kong's future. I support the motion. Thank you.
Mr. Chen Chen-ying. President, I thank Mr. Hung Kam-in for proposing the original motion. An aging society is seen in Hong Kong and different parts of the world. The country has made promotion of a silver economy being an important part of high-quality development of the country's economy. We need to dovetail with this national strategy and have long-term planning in the promotion of the silver industry in an orderly manner. We have the working group on promoting silver economy as well as the working group on aging society strategies. The government also launched multiple measures. It really shows its determination to develop the silver industry in Hong Kong and provide great elderly care services. I have some suggestions for making good use of the quality resources in the Greater Bay Area. President, if elderly persons have stable income, they will consume more. So my first suggestion is that the government should have more diversified products for the retiree. We should have some good products with the banking and insurance sectors, such as elderly themed bonds, as well as other fixed income or stable products. We should also enhance the elderly mortgage arrangements. Apart from upgrading financial products, we need to have a more comprehensive service chain. My second suggestion is therefore the government should take the lead in constructing a dedicated elderly finance platform to provide specific services such as off-site account opening services, consultation services, to provide one-stop support for elderly persons who are of relatively old age and have mobility issues. Financial institutions are also actively exercising their responsibility in society, and we should have them do more community education facility activities. We should have them hold seminars for elderly persons on anti-scam knowledge and to provide support to them in making good use of financial tools. We also see changes in elderly views. They have a greater demand for health and wellness as well as tourism services, and we can really leverage on the strengths in the Greater Bay Area. For that, we can work with the hotel and catering sectors and make good use of resources in the Greater Bay Area to have high quality silver tourism routes. We can also have elderly dedicated sports courses to develop basically more consumption scenarios for elderly socialization. There's also great importance to have germ technology, say fall detection technologies, as well as elderly accompanying robots. But right now, these cost quite a lot. It can be a huge burden on elderly persons. I hope the government can increase the subsidies and enhance coverage of such subsidies so that elderly persons can make good use of the silver products. In Hong Kong, we don't really have elderly communities. However, in cities in the mainland, they have one-stop communities that provide different services in healthcare, cultural, leisure services, and other kinds of services. The housing society also has specific housing estate for elderly persons, but the options are limited. We should have land premium concessions or plot ratio incentives so that private developers will provide more elderly accommodation options. We need to have long-term planning for the development of silver economy. We need to have cross-departmental and cross-sectoral collaboration. When drafting the city's first 5-year plan, the government should continue to enhance top-level structure so that we have a diversified elderly care system. I speak in support of the motion and amendments I so submit. Mr. Tam Chun Ko. Thank you, President. I speak in support of the original motion and the amendment. The National 15 5-year plan says we need to actively respond to population aging, and silver economy is an important growth area of the mainland economy. As we see an aging society, we should dovetail with the national strategy. My team and I have all along been paying close attention to elderly care services, and we have held different activities in the community to promote healthy and happy living of the elderly persons. We believe enhancing the quality of living of elderly persons is how we can boost elderly consumption. Indeed, an aging population is a challenge, but there's also great demand from that. We should have a quality living environment for elderly persons, and if they're healthy and happy, they are more than willing to consume. We need to match the needs of elderly persons in products and services. Many elderly persons have savings, but they're worried about the future healthcare burden, so they're not willing to consume. But we have also seen different surveys showing that elderly persons are more than willing to spend on health products and services. And even mainland elderly persons have high regard for healthcare services in Hong Kong, as well as the health products in Hong Kong. They think Hong Kong has stringent quality assurance standards. According to the Trade Development Council survey, it shows that most mainland middle-class silver consumption individuals making consumption, they appreciate Hong Kong's products, and I think this is key to promoting silver economy in Hong Kong. We should leverage on our strengths in healthcare and R&D and have in-depth integration of healthcare services in the health industry, especially when life and health technology is an important part of the development of the Northern Metropolis. We can have high-quality health center services as well as accredited health products to attract consumption of elderly persons from other Greater Bay Area cities and even other mainland cities. We have often talked about Hong Kong elderly persons seeking elderly care in the mainland. With two-way integration, we should consider the possibility of accommodating mainland elderly persons coming to the Hong Kong for elderly care. We can leverage on our strengths under one country, two system, and really tap into the opportunities of the large silver market in the mainland. We can achieve a win-win for all. I also agree with what is said by Ms. Julia LAU about developing health and wellness plus tourism plus culture. We can have specific packages for tourism, for mainland elderly persons in healthcare tourism. We can have body checks for them and management of chronic illnesses. In the long term, we can have a silver consumption cluster in Northern Metropolis to achieve economies of scale. The working group on promoting silver economy promulgated 30 measures last year. It has been a year. I think it's time to review the effectiveness of relevant measures. I also suggest the government work together with NGOs and social welfare organizations so that we can provide better support for elderly persons. I so submit. Thank you, President. Mr. Chen Pui-kong. Thank you, President. I would like to speak on the motion. In 2024, we have elderly persons age 60 or above spending over $342 billion. And according to the government's estimates, if we see a 5% growth in silver consumption every year, we will have $17 billion in direct economic benefits. Job opportunities will also be created. We can achieve both livelihood improvement and economic growth. The country has said we should actively respond to population aging in its national strategy. And in December 2025, the DAB published some measures on elderly care and promotion of development of silver economy, and specific support should be provided to relevant industries. We need to actively dovetail with the National 15 5-year plan because we have limited land and resources. We can't really rise up enough to the challenge. The country has an adequate land supply and a comprehensive industrial chain. The country's strategy has favorable conditions for us to build a platform to really leverage on our strengths and complement with the strength in resources in other GBA cities to develop the silver economy. In implementation, we need to have alignment of elderly care standards and mutual recognition arrangements. The care food standards have already been included in the list of GBA standards. On this basis, we have the Chinese Manufacturers Association having an accreditation scheme for care food. We also have the Hong Kong Federation of Industries that has the Q Mark Silver products accreditation scheme. It really shows we are world class in standard setting of silver products and services. Elderly persons are more than willing to spend on health products and rehabilitation products. Unfortunately, we do not have unified quality and effectiveness standards. So often, elderly persons fall victim to false advertisement or misleading advertisement. We should refer to the successful experience of care food standards and have unified GBA standards for different health and rehabilitative products to really develop the silver industry, to instill confidence in consumers and regulate market conduct. I believe Hong Kong, as a highly internationalized city, we can radiate silver standards in the GBA to the rest of the world if we develop silver standards and lay foundations for the quality recognition of silver products. We can slowly radiate this influence to the Southeast Asian market and after that the global market, so that GBA standards will be the unified standards of the international silver industry and we can be a hub of the silver economy. We need to also maintain integrity. We need to enhance anti-scam education, combat false advertisement. We can't let unscrupulous individuals destroy our brand. I so am speaking in support of the motion amendment.
Mr. Alvin Lee. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Hung Kam-in's motion and Ms. Julia LAU's amendment. Hong Kong's rapid development is the fruit of many generations' efforts. It is only natural that we offer the respect and dignity that our elderly generation deserve. On the other hand, the growing size of the silver population has brought about challenges and opportunities. In the National 15th Five-Year Plan, the country states that we need to deepen the implementation of the national strategies for responding to population aging and refining the policies and mechanisms for coordinating the development of elderly care programs and industries. We need to align our five-year plan with that. Now, the premise of silver economy is that we must make sure that the silver market products are useful for the elderly people. Now, I have listened to the views of many elderly friends, and here is what they say. First of all, we need to further integrate our elderly care system with the Guangdong sector. Now, some people are worried that the government is trying to send all elderly people to the Bay Area. These people have little information on the elderly care service in the mainland, and some elderly people are worried that if they are retiring in the mainland, it would cut them off from their families. These are the real worries of our elderly friends. Now, in fact, the elderly healthcare voucher scheme and the residential care scheme has been expanding to the Guangdong. Now, there are already 24 care homes in 8 GBA cities in the mainland. However, information on paper is not enough. Now, my organization has organized a tour for elderly people to visit the elderly care homes in the mainland. I hope the government would organize more study tours for elderly people to see for themselves what elderly care homes in the mainland is like. That is, at the present, elderly care healthcare voucher can only be used on daycare services in the mainland. Now, we should extend the scope of usage of elderly healthcare voucher for elderly people in the mainland so that they can have more options in the mainland. We shouldn't let elderly people to try and see what services fit them themselves. We should help them to find the appropriate services. Now, second, we need to actively develop sharing technology and the support and the ancillary support for their use. Sharing technology is a pillar for the silver economy. Now, many colleagues have mentioned care robots and smart beds and so on. Now, there is a sharing technology experience center run by the Hong Kong Jockey Club. However, many sharing technology products are expensive, and there is only limited opportunities to rent and test them. So I hope on the basis of the R&D Fund for Application in Elderly and Rehabilitation Care, more resources can be allocated to allow for the rent and buy scheme in the community so that sharing technology products can really reach into the homes of elderly people. Third, we need to strengthen primary health care. Now, the government has been expanding the coverage of district health center and also community pharmacies. Now, the network of community pharmacy is too small. Say, for example, in Tuen Mun, elderly people have to cross to Yuen Long to find a community pharmacy. There must be at least 4 to 5 community pharmacies in each district. Now, there are only 4 districts with community pharmacies. As of now, we need to speed up the expansion of the network, especially in districts where there are more public housing estates and older buildings. We also need to strengthen the referral mechanism from private healthcare to public healthcare services. Now, this is a long-term work. We need to continue to strive for that. I so submit to support the motion and the amendment. Professor Priscilla Leung. President, I speak in support of the motion and also the amendment. Starting from 2012, in the Council, I have been calling for a positive response to the aging population. We shouldn't see elderly people as a burden. It is a global issue. By 2034, everyone in 3 Hong Kong people will be 65 years old or above. That's a large amount of population. Now, Hong Kong people are very unique. That's because of the Lion Rock spirit, especially the baby boomers. They just can't stop and rest. Say, for example, in my ward office, over the past decade, I have had 80 or 90-year-old volunteers. Now, very recently, my mother, who is 98 years old, gave out flowers in restaurants on Mother's Day with me. So we need to, this is something we want to encourage. Now, if you are the friend of elderly people, they will be very happy to use the time to help you out. Now, starting from a decade ago, I have been calling for 5 things. First of all, we should make reference to European countries to establish a time bank for the young elderly people. We have to give them a positive label. So those young elderly people can save up in the time bank by participating in volunteer work. And when they get older and require help, they can spend the savings in the time bank. And second, we need to have a fund for silver entrepreneurship. Many retired civil servants, ex-disciplinary service officers, this is the golden time. Post-retirement, they can make use of the experience to ride on the bandwagon of the 15 5-year plan, especially when with AI. Now, 3, silver training. Now, Korea has some training courses for silver models and so on. Now, the movie of Robert De Niro, that's The Intern, is a good example. retirees can contribute their experience into businesses. Fourth, there should be a flexible retirement system starting from the civil service. Many universities and public bodies allow retirement at 65 years old, but we can make it optional so that those who still want to work can choose to stay. Now, judges' retirement age has been extended to 70 years old. Now, their work is mainly mental in nature, so their knowledge and experience is the most important thing rather than their physical attributes. Now, fifth, we need to expand the social platform for the civil population. Now, my mother, who is 90-something, I called my mother during typhoon and asked if she's safe. Now, my mother told me that she has a list of people she needs to call to check their safety. There are hundreds of people on the list. Now, it means that they feel they are needed. Now, there are a lot of stories of centurions nowadays. So old people still feel young. They still want to serve. So elderly people want to feel confident until the very last breath. That's why I said we need to keep the $2 concession scheme. That's very important to keep elderly people active. Volunteer work is very important as well. In the 5-year plan, we must have a blueprint for the civil population, a silver living circle, and a silver economy. I so submit. Professor Alex Fan. President, the National 15 5-year plan stipulates that we need to deepen the implementation of the national strategies for responding to population aging and refine the synergy between elderly care programs and industries. Now, the original motion focuses on standardizing the healthcare service in the Bay Area, but there's more to the silver economy. Cross-boundary elderly care and silver economy are two policies. Now, during the 14th 5-year plan, the country has defined silver economy as the supply of services and products to the elderly people, as well as preparing elderly people for retirement. It covers caring and protection. Now, silver economy focuses on consumption, industries, and products. It is market-driven. Now, for cross-boundary elderly care, it is a question of demand and supply. They support each other. Now, we'll focus on silver consumption and unleashing silver potential. In promoting silver economy, the government has a clear framework. In the 2024 policy address, the working group on promoting silver economy has been established. In last May, 30 measures have been announced under 5 areas covering silver consumption, silver industry, quality assurance, silver financial arrangements, and silver productivity. Now, the leader, Deputy Chief Secretary of Administration, said that a review will be conducted on those policies, showing that there is progress. Now, we have a very strong silver consumer population in Hong Kong. Now, last year, they spent some $342 billion, accounting for 11% of the GDP. In 10 years' time, the amount will climb to 500 billion Hong Kong dollars. Now, to unleash the silver consumption potential, we need to keep tab of the consumption pattern. The TDC has announced a survey on local businesses tapping the silver market. It shows that the middle class has strong potential. 78% of them have paid for 86% of the products. 84% of them have paid for the majority of the premiums. Now, 15% of the surveys think that leisure and entertainment is their prioritized spending area. Now, the government should conduct a territory-wide elderly consumption pattern to collect data on elderly consumption pattern on catering, culture, tourism products, and so on, so that the governments can formulate more targeted policies. Now, silver tourism is also an area with potential. Now, the Tile Heritage Hotel has launched a silver program. It had received some 2 million visitors, and during weekdays, the majority of the visitors are elderly people. So we should offer packages combining culture and tourism for the elderly visitors. Unleashing silver potential is also key. Now, elderly people can work longer into the life nowadays. Now, the government can do more to unleash the silver productivity. Now, in Singapore, there is a retirement and re-employment policy. The statutory retirement age has been extended to 64 years old, and employees can work till 69. Now, the law prohibits employers to lay off employees solely on age basis. Now, as long as employees are still fit, they can be re-employed according to the law until the statutory age limit. Now, in the long run, I think Hong Kong can learn from Singapore to establish a similar mechanism. We can also consider extending the age limits for individual job types. Now, Hong Kong people are some of the most enjoys the longest longevity in the world. We need to build an age-friendly society. Thank you.
Mr. Jonathan Leung. President, the population is rapidly aging. The National 15th Five-Year Plan proposes a proactive and systematic response to this issue. Population aging should be turned into an opportunity, and that sets a clear direction for us in coping with our population aging. Last year, our government set up the working group on aging society strategies. The working group is tasked with making policies and leveraging market forces to cope with the challenges of an aging population and also to seize the opportunities. The Liberal Party would like to see better planning in terms of population, labor, and aging so that seniors can get a sense of purpose and enjoy their twilight years. Based on the latest government figures, by 2046, we will see 2.74 million seniors, up from 1.57 million. By then, 1 in 3 Hong Kong residents will be a senior. So in the next 20 years, we will see the senior population double. Population aging is a global phenomenon, but aging here is fast. The World Health Organization calls a society a hyper-aged society when more than 20% of the population is seniors, and we hit that level back in 2021. When you have such a large senior population, that brings challenges to your economy, the labor market. At the same time, an aging population also presents economic opportunities. Those aged over 65 spent $342.1 billion, or 11% of GDP 2 years ago. And in 10 years' time, that figure will rise to $496 billion. Making good use of this spending power will power the economy. The statutory retirement age now is somewhere between 60 to 65, but some seniors upon retirement are still active. The new line for being a senior is 80 years old, and that means those aged 65 to 69 are still middle-aged. We should encourage seniors to work. We should encourage them to join the labor market, and that can ease the shortage in the labor market, and that can enhance a sense of worth, a sense of belonging, and the social skills of seniors. Apart from that, seniors who retire work with much lower income. With the high cost of living in Hong Kong, seniors resort to penny pinching. They even skimp on food. Mr. Tommy Cheung took the lead with an initiative involving restaurants. More than 100 restaurants took part. They gave vouchers to seniors, offering discounts to seniors. That's also a way to encourage seniors to take part in social activities, and that addresses the problem of loneliness. Now, for those who struggle with swallowing, we offer care food or soft meals. Hong Kong has now built experience in soft meals. So in terms of the taste and the appearance, soft food now is much better than what it was. Soft meals allow seniors to share a meal with their family members, and that's a new market. Many seniors in Hong Kong go to the mainland to spend their twilight years, and in response to that trend, the government launched this residential care services scheme in Guangdong. Eligible seniors get $5,000 every month. They continue to receive their OAL8 and OAA when they stay in the Guangdong care home. They can also choose a Hong Kong residential care home in the mainland and use their healthcare vouchers, but there are only 1,000 spots under the scheme, and these schemes are only found in a few Guangdong cities. We should have more places under the scheme, and more GBA mainland cities should be covered, and we should allow more mainland care homes to join the scheme. The government can refer to the experience of the inclusion of care food in the GBA standards, and we should promote the mutual recognition of standards and qualifications, and they should cover healthcare and elderly care to improve the ecosystem of the healthcare. Aging population is a challenge, and also a source of opportunities. The government should plan accordingly. We should apply systematic thinking, and we should put everything together and turn aging population into a source of economic growth and a source of social innovation. I support the motion and the amendment. Mr. Chris Ip. Our aging population is an irreversible trend, but we have transitioned into a knowledge-based economy. People are getting better educated. Seniors are in better health. So seniors can keep working even after retirement. And that means when we design our policies, we have to focus on a sense of security, a sense of belonging, which align with what's in Chapter 40 of the National 15th Five-Year Plan, which is a chapter on aging population, which should focus on a sense of purpose and enjoyment for seniors, so that seniors can get involved socially and we can improve their quality of life. As of 2024, there were 1.57 million seniors, or 24% of the population. Those aged 65 and still working, including working on a full-time or part-time basis, there were 227,000 such people. The senior labor participation rate was at 13.7%. This figure shows Hong Kong still has a number of seniors who can work. The Labor Department has launched the Reemployment Allowance Scheme. Last year, there were 74 large-scale district thematic job fairs for seniors. For seniors looking to work again, that was support for them. So on this note, I hope that the government can offer tax breaks to encourage employers to offer more part-time and flexible job positions, so that more seniors who wish to work can continue to contribute their expertise and experience. Apart from encouraging seniors to work, the government can also encourage seniors to go for volunteering. We can work with care teams and non-government organizations, which should set up a matching platform for volunteering, so that seniors who wish to go for volunteering can take part in volunteering initiatives based on their preferences and experience. That will give seniors something to do, and that will also allow seniors to be socially involved, and then they can contribute to the community. The government should also consider a range of cultural and recreational activities for seniors to improve the quality of life for seniors. We should also work with universities. The mainland offers universities for seniors. Let's come up with programs specifically for seniors, so that seniors who missed tertiary education in their youth can receive higher education in their old age. To align with the national strategies, the government here is working on its first 5-year plan. Promoting the silver economy can be a priority in our first 5-year plan. Developing the silver economy should be about looking after the daily needs of seniors, and it should do more. It should be about allowing seniors to contribute to the community. We should improve the lives of seniors, and this is something at the core of the silver economy. We should consider a range of policy measures to encourage seniors who wish to do so to continue to work or go for volunteering, so that their valuable work experience and expertise as well as life experience can become a form of contribution to the community. That way, when we pursue our first 5-year plan, we will be more in line with the national 15th 5-year plan, which stresses a sense of purpose for seniors and helping seniors enjoy life. And that will help us better cope with the challenge of an aging population and seize the opportunities. As also made, I support Mr. Hung Kam-in's motion and Ms. Julia LAU's amendment. Mr. Woon-kit. I support Mr. Hung Kam-in's motion on promoting the silver economy to align with national development. The discussion today should be more than about offering a pragmatic solution to our aging population. This should be an opportunity. We should leverage one country, two systems, which is our unique strength, so that we should be taking the lead in setting the standards. Now we should be meeting this challenge and create opportunities. An aging population is a challenge and a source of opportunities. The National 15th 5-year plan has elevated coping with an aging population to a mission of national importance. We should up our game. We should not see this as just a problem. We should see the silver economy as a source of impetus. I support including the silver economy in our first 5-year plan. This should not be about social welfare. This instead should be about unleashing our new quality productive forces. Health and wellness, tourism, culture, real estate, everything else. We should deeply integrate all these elements. Proper planning will mean the silver economy can improve seniors' lives. That can also enhance Hong Kong's status as its financial center and INT center. And we should work with the rest of the Greater Bay Area. We have been talking about GBA collaboration as a way to seek development. Today, we should be looking to export our standards. We have a healthcare system aligned with global practice. We have a well-established legal system. We have robust professional services. We have robust R&D capabilities. We have what it takes to take the lead in setting industry standards. We should focus on 3 things. First, quality accreditation for wellness services. We should turn our service standards into something recognized in the GBA. We should also regulate German technology on artificial intelligence, data security, and ethical standards. And we should be setting the standards. Third, mutual recognition of cross-boundary financial products. We should design annuity products as well as trust products, pension products for the GBA. When Hong Kong's products become GBA standards, we would be not just a participant, but we would be the party setting the standards. And that will get international investments to take Hong Kong as a springboard and enter the GBA standard. And that's how we can give play to our role as a super connector. We should use technology to get a head start. Technology is key to upgrading the silver economy. Embodied AI in the form of robots can play a role. These robots can look after seniors. They can keep them company. They can even learn about the patterns of life and offer emotional support. We have world-class universities with world-class R&D, AI R&D teams. We have an industry chain. We have what it takes to become an R&D center for robots looking after seniors. If the government should set up dedicated funds to encourage research, academic, and industry collaboration, we should work on human-machine interface, computing technology, and robotics. Once we get this done, we will be able to produce not just a product, but an entire set of solutions. And that's for our new industrialization. We should focus on training talent. At the end of the day, it's about talent. The silver economy should be something that fosters development. We should foster the development of education, technology, talent. We need someone with the technical expertise and also the human touch. For our technology, we need more real-world application scenarios so that we can become a demonstration zone and testing ground for technology. In terms of talent, we should draw world-class scientists and also experts in wellness so that we can become an INT cluster. With this ecosystem, we will be able to nurture and attract high-end talent and enhance Hong Kong's status as an international talent hub and also an INT hub. An aging population is a global problem. For Hong Kong, this can be an opportunity for us to transform ourselves. We have our country support, we have the GBA market, we have one country, two systems, which is our institutional strength. I support Mr. Hung Kam-in's motion. I support Hong Kong's push to change from simply coping with an aging population to becoming a leader in promoting the silver economy. I hope this motion can offer seniors a life with dignity. And I hope this can also be our chance to be a trailblazer. I so submit.
Mr. Ken Wong, President. I speak in support of Mr. Hung Kam-in's original motion. We have seen a rapidly changing demographic structure in Hong Kong. An aging population is no longer a thing of the future, but is what we face at present. This is a natural trend of the development of society. It directly affects what we plan in the future in resource allocation. When drafting the first 5-year plan of the city, the government should actively respond to the challenges and opportunities brought about by an aging population and dovetail with the national strategy. We should alleviate the burden on public healthcare system as well as on elderly care services. We can bring about diversified development with the promotion of silver economy. As we see an increasing elderly population, there is great development potential for a silver economy in areas such as healthcare, institutional care, elderly care services, and products. This can be a new growth area for the local economy. We have a quality healthcare system. We have great strengths. We should dovetail with the directions of development of the country and integrate into the coordinated development of the Greater Bay Area. This can help tackle the service gap in Hong Kong. We can also match the pace of the country in development of silver economy. We cannot neglect there are actual challenges brought about by an increasing elderly population. We will have greater demand for long-term care for elderly persons. It will impose a financial burden on the government. We have elderly care and community support services right now that can't really meet the needs of elderly persons. We also have a shortage of resources. As we see a shrinking labor force, this will really hurt the economic potential of the city. I have some suggestions. One, we need to share data across departments. Departments have different data on elderly persons, and the data is fragmented. The government should consolidate different data of departments to identify, for example, singleton elderly households, hidden elderly households, as well as real elderly persons, so that we can intervene early and provide targeted support to them. We should also actively communicate with GBA mainland cities to help provide cross-boundary elderly care services and basically integrate ourselves into the elderly care system of the country. The government should also actively promote the construction of smart communities as well as digital elderly care services. We should promote the use of wearable tech as well as fall detection technologies at home, as well as dissemination of information as well as collection of health-related information remotely. We can also try to pilot local healthcare technologies in the Greater Bay Area. This should help alleviate the manpower gap while also help us develop new markets. We have elderly manpower resources available, so we should try to promote working among the elderly and social inclusiveness. Right now, elderly persons can work, but the models of work may not be convenient to them. We should have flexible working arrangements, for example, part-time arrangements, as well as consultant positions available for elderly persons so that they can practice flexible employment. This will help meet the manpower gap. It can also allow elderly persons to continue to make contributions. As long as we do well in top-level planning, dovetail with the national strategy, and have GBA as a platform and promote data connectivity and develop the silver industry, I believe we will be able to take advantage of the new growth area and boost the local economy. I still submit, speaking in support of the motion and amendments. Dr. Thomas So. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Hung Kam-in's original motion and Ms. Julia LAU's amendments. As said in the motion, it is now a national strategy to actively respond to population aging. The National 15th Five-Year Plan specifically says we need to actively respond to the challenge and refine the policies and mechanisms for coordinating the development of elderly care programs and industries. In fact, an aging population is seen not just in Hong Kong or the country, but the rest of the world as well. And in last year's policy address, the Working Group on Aging Society Strategies was established. Hong Kong is an advanced city. We have seen decades of development in the elderly care system. In the 70s, we already have the concept of elderly communities promulgated, and in 1994 we have specific legislation for residential care homes for the elderly. So basically we had the legal foundations for regulating residential care homes for the elderly. We have some PPP, public-private partnership models for development, and this can be a value for the promulgation of GBA standards for elderly care. Take Care Food as an example. We have other members talk about the Council of Social Service working with the relevant industry to promulgate care food standards, and it was included in the list of GBA standards last year. This is the first set of industry-led silver economy standards in the GBA standards. As we do see a slower launch of the silver industry in the mainland, but then we have seen rapid development in recent years. The mainland has more adequate land supply, and therefore it has a significant advantage over Hong Kong in this. We have complementary advantages in the GBA, so we have good foundations collaboration in cross-boundary elderly care. In terms of standards for elderly care, I think we can really align our rules and standards and mechanisms. In the promotion of silver economy, especially in cross-boundary elderly care, we need to make sure quality is maintained so that even when elderly persons live elsewhere, they should only see an enhancement of quality of living. We need to enhance software such as the food available, as well as regulatory standards. We need to make sure quality of software is maintained while we see an enhancement in the quality of hardware, so that elderly persons are willing to spend on such services. On promoting mutual recognition and alignment of elderly care service standards, I hope the Working Group on Aging Society strategies can promote alignment of standards and rules and set a concrete timeline for that. With care workers and supplementary medical professions, can we have their conduct included as part of the GBA standards? That's what we can think about. The overall planning of the GBA elderly care system, we should also have unified standards for elderly care. We can also explore the expanded coverage of cross-boundary health vouchers applicable in the mainland. And with cross-boundary elderly care, elderly persons may go to institutions outside urban areas. Can we provide some sort of transportation support to elderly persons? The National 15th Five-Year Plan has great potential that we can tap into in terms of elderly care. The government should work with mainland authorities to promulgate GBA elderly care standards and alignment of rules and standards. I so submit. Reverend Peter Kuhn. President, in 2043, every 1 in 3 people in Hong Kong would be 65 years old or above. We can't really reverse the trend, but with proper policy support, there is great potential for the Silver Group to be a new engine for growth for the local economy. On a national level, it has been made a key strategy to actively respond to population aging. And in the National 15th Five-Year Plan, it is said specifically we are to refine the policies and mechanisms for coordinating development of elderly care programs and industries. As a gateway of the country, we need to leverage on our strengths in, for example, professional services to align and integrate ourselves into the supply and industrial chain of the country. We first need to make sure we have proper alignment of standards. Right now, we don't have that. For example, standards in healthcare, mutual recognition of qualifications of professionals, data sharing across the boundary of elderly data. Right now, we do not have a regular coordination mechanism for unifying standards. Let me give you an example. We have different definitions of elderly persons in Hong Kong. We have those who are age 60 or above who can obtain ZHU card. Those age 65 years old or above can receive old age living allowance. Those age 70 years old or above can receive another form of allowance. With different standards in wealth care services, how can we align our standards with the mainland when we don't even have unified standards? The Working Group on Promoting Silver Economy promulgated 30 measures, but many of them are just a rehashing of older measures. There are no KPIs to measure the effectiveness of the measures either. Right now, the drone technology available in Hong Kong is lagging behind other advanced areas. Some products do not accommodate for the limited space in Hong Kong. The prices are also relatively expensive. There are different standards adopted in safety accreditation, so we can't really unify the standards for products. I have some suggestions to make sure we can align with the national strategy. First of all, we should have safety guidelines for aging in place, as well as accreditation of germ technology products, as well as data sharing of GBA standards aligned in the Greater Bay Area. We should also unify the definition of elderly persons to lay the right foundations for such. in terms of development of technology and the relevant industry, we should have a GBA unified R&D platform for German technology to systematically collect feedback from elderly persons to promote commercialization of products and help such products acquire international accreditation. That is leveraging on us, that's leveraging on our strength as a super connector. A silver economy is not just about commercial operations. We should include social welfare and NG, non-government organizations in the ecosystem. There may not be much profit, but there is some demand to provide, for example, care food to elderly persons. And we can, in the end, form a market and develop a sustainable model for development of silver economy. To realize this vision, I urge the government to include in its first 5-year plan cross-departmental collaboration mechanism for the development of silver economy to have overall planning. An aging population trend cannot be reversed, but there are always opportunities and challenges. As long as we actively dovetail with the national strategy and leverage on our strengths under one country, two systems, and consolidate our strengths in healthcare and technology, we can develop silver economy into a new growth area for the economy. I so submit.
Mr. Jonathan Lamport. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Hung Kam-in for moving today's motion so that we have an opportunity to discuss the opportunities and challenges brought about by our aging population. Now, when it comes to silver economy, the focus is usually on the consumption demand for the elderly people, including healthcare, financial products, and technology products. Now, a survey reveals that 75% of wealth are in the hands of those above the age of 60. Now, I think Hong Kong's situation is more or less the same. If we can unleash the wealth of this group of people, we can transform the challenges into opportunities. Now, I would like to focus on unleashing silver potential. Now, several years ago, when I started a startup company, I needed a partner who is robust and also experienced. But that's a tough ask because when it comes to vitality, I was looking for a young partner. However, if I wanted an experienced partner, I would have to look for partners who are older. It's very hard to find someone who have both merits. Now, in the end, I was lucky enough to find someone who was enthusiastic enough to lead the team and also experienced enough to lead my company. He was 76 years old at the time. Now, at the present, he leads a team of research fellows to commercialize our research products. And he is a good mentor and to the younger members of the team. Now, many people ask me why I was bold enough to find a Silver Age person to lead a startup. Now, my answer is simple. I attach values to the attitude and also the capabilities of the candidate. Age is not important. Now, with the advancements made in healthcare technology, people are living longer, and there is the so-called age bonus. Now, for the newer generation of elderly people, the health is much better than the previous generation, and they have a lot of intangible assets, including network and also people skills. If we can translate these into human resources potential, they will not be a burden, but rather valuable assets. Now, the Working Group on Promoting the Silver Economy strategy, the Working Group on Promoting Silver Economy has implemented a series of measures, including elderly-friendly employment measures under unleashing silver productivity. But policy is not enough. In the job market, there is still intangible discrimination against older job seekers. Now, there should be more resources to provide incentives for employers. For example, tax concession for employers who hire older employees. And there should also be flexible employment opportunities as well as consultancy posts for experienced retirees. This will help elderly people get employed, but not take away the job opportunities of the young. Now, the young old are still capable of work. They are still enthusiastic. They are like a fine wine, which has aged well. Now, they can pass on their valuable experience if they are humble enough. And also, young people can acquire knowledge and experience from them. We can forge a corporate culture which benefits both the old and the young. Now, with job, elderly people will have more incentive to maintain health and even give up bad habits. This will help reduce the healthcare burden on society. We can give much more play to the age bonus. Thank you. Ms. Ginny Man. Deputy President, I speak in support of the motion and the amendment. Now, in recent years, more and more people are choosing to retire. In the mainland, there are some 100,000 people who are retiring in the Guangdong province. The government has also launched a number of support measures. For example, the Guangdong Residential Care Scheme to support eligible elderly people to check into recognized healthcare and care homes in the mainland. Now, the choice is impacted by the preferences of the other people. However, more and more people are more used to the idea of crossing the border to spend the money. So we can expect that more and more elderly people will choose to retire in the mainland, and we have to be prepared for that. Now, there are lots of benefits to receiving care in the Bay Area. Now, the focus should be on finding a quality care homes with reliable caregivers in the mainland. So I call on the working group on aging society strategies to establish a standardized regime with the GBA covering service scopes and service quality. With this standard, elderly people and their family will be reassured. Now, we should also pay attention to the cross-boundary flow of health record. Many elderly people have to cross the border to receive health care. Doctors rely on accurate health record to provide accurate diagnosis and treatment. However, only recognized healthcare personnel are given access to healthcare records in the mainland. So we should include more recognized healthcare service providers under the regime and allow them access to healthcare records. Now, there are challenges and also opportunities brought about by the aging population. If we just look at the situation with a pessimistic mindset, there are only challenges. But if we change our attitude, we can find new growth points. Under the backdrop of an aging population. Now, that's why we should create a robust ecosystem. There are lots of elderly people who are healthy in mind and body, and also they have amassed significant wealth. Now, they are the potential customers under the seasonal relocation for wellness and care industry. Now, financial bodies can provide insurance policies which cover seasonal relocation of elderly people. And also, there should be more diversified elderly financial products for elderly people. We can offer more investment products with lower risk for elderly people. Now, for sharing technology, we have 5 top 100 universities in Hong Kong, they are engaged in joint technology development. However, because of the lack of funding, some research projects have died out. Now, can the government steer the efforts of the universities to align them with mainland manufacturers so that the research products can be produced en masse and sold to the overseas market? Now, it would be very difficult for private businesses to find a partner in the mainland, so the government can act as the go-between. Now, in the past, elderly people were the care receiver. Now, with longer lifespan, many elderly people need products which can maintain their living standard rather than a sick bed. So we need to collaborate with the mainland enterprises and dive headlong into the silver economy so as to rise up above the challenges. Thank you. Mr. Ray Wong. Deputy President, I thank Mr. Hung Kam-in for the motion. I fully support the motion. The National 15th Five-Year Plan has stipulated that responding to population aging is a national strategy. We need to ensure that the elderly people are cared for and are living a full life. Elderly people are not the burden of society, but rather valuable access to support our growth. Now, at this juncture where we are formulating our five-year plan, we need to make silver economy a new growth point for Hong Kong. There are 4 suggestions. One, we need to be led by scenario-based scientific research. Now, as a representative of the sector, I think we need to be more advanced. We can't just talk about science without application scenario. Now in Beijing, at Yizhuang, there is a half-marathon robot race attended by 100 robots. It has broken the record of the male half-marathon record. Now this is about application scenario. Through a long-distance race, we can test the resilience and also the capability to prevent interference of the motors and also the sensors. Now we need to ensure that scientific research or application scenarios that so as to forge Hong Kong into an innovation hub for joint technology. Now second, we need to unleash the silver potential. We need to break away from the rigid mindset. Many elderly people are highly experienced with a massive amount of knowledge. Now, with AI and some other assistance, elderly people can become entrepreneur again. So the BPA supports the establishment of an entrepreneurship fund for the elderly people, which offers one-stop support for old entrepreneurs. Now, through the re-employment scheme as well as the employment program for the elderly and the middle-aged, we can provide more funding for job types suitable for elderly people. Now, there should also be a flexible retirement system for civil servants who have approached retirement age and are still healthy. They should be allowed to stay on. And we should learn from the Western countries. We should establish a time bank to encourage other people to offer voluntary work in exchange for care service later. Now, we must implement the in-depth integration between smart and traditional elderly care. Now, through the community living room, we should establish classrooms for joint technology. Care team workers should also be encouraged to educate elderly people to use joint technology. And also, we should make use of the real-life monitoring platform to reduce the care burden of families with elderly people. Now, fourth, we need to establish a standard for quality silver markets. Now, the sustainable development of the silver markets relies on a healthy ecosystem. Now, in the mainland, there is the idea of positive aging. It has been integrated into the whole process of economic development. Now, the retirement mindset has been changing in the mainland. Now, if there is a more sophisticated culture to make advanced planning for retirement in a young age. Now, there are more and more service plus care models in the mainland. On the other hand, in Hong Kong, the culture is still rather conservative. Now, we need to step up publicity and education, and we need to make use of the CSTB's programs and also the Q-Mark schemes as well as the Q-Mark Silver schemes to regulate and monitor silver-related services and products. Thank you.
Mr. Chan Pui-Leung. Thank you, Mr. Deputy. Both Hong Kong and the mainland are grappling with an aging population. The mainland senior population has reached 23% of the population. By 2046 in Hong Kong, 1 in 3 Hong Kong residents will be a senior. The National 15th Five-Year Plan proposes an active strategy in response to the aging population. We should improve the aged care industry, and also we have to work on institutions and systems. And the SAR government is working on the first 5-year plan. I hope that our first 5-year plan can align with the national strategy. We can turn population aging from a challenge into a source of opportunities. We can launch quality products and services to meet the needs of the ever-growing silver consumer good. We should tap the silver potential so that we can serve seniors in Hong Kong and beyond in the GBA. A bank survey shows that the middle class in Hong Kong think they will need assets worth $20 million for a comfortable retirement life. To unleash this spending power, we will have to ensure reliable and steady income streams for seniors. Relying on savings alone after retirement will mean that even though seniors will not be comfortable about spending money, so we will need more financial products and instruments. We should also help seniors access products such as annuities, reverse mortgages, and policy reverse mortgages so that seniors have the means to spend and also they are comfortable with spending. Retirement care for the middle class is top of mind for me. We should ensure a comfortable life with amenities for seniors to become socially active so that we give them emotional support. There should be continuous health management services for seniors. The Northern Metropolis can explore the development of an area for the silver group. Now, in the green-blue eco zone, we should set aside land. We should provide policy support and financial incentives to encourage the development of retirement community. We can even encourage experienced mainland enterprises to provide services, and we should also promote mutual recognition of standards qualifications for services and also general technology. In the long term, we should promote GBA standards. We should bring together the Life and Health Technology Research Institute and also the Teaching Camp Hospital facility in Yau Mei to create a new growth impetus for Hong Kong. The Hong Kong Trade and Development Council released a study showing that the mainland's silver group want Hong Kong's insurance products. They generally believe service quality is more reliable in Hong Kong. They're willing to pay a premium to access Hong Kong's products and services. For wellness food products, cosmetics, and personal care, the mainland's seniors take a particular interest in these areas, so our businesses should seize this opportunity. We should expand such businesses. The government should take the lead in coming up with a blueprint for wellness care for the middle class, and in our first 5-year plan, we should take cross-boundary wellness care and we should turn that into a priority and promote the high-quality development of silver economy. I so submit I support the motion and the amendment. Mr. Kitson Young. Thank you, Mr. Deputy. Hong Kong has one of the longest life expectancies in the world. Many seniors have savings. They want a better life. The government set up a working group on promoting the silver economy. Under silver economy, silver quality assurance, silver finance, and unleashing silver productivity, a range of measures launched. There are 30 such measures under these 5 areas. We want to seize these opportunities for our country. In 2024, the State Council issued a policy document on improving the public well-being for seniors. So there's top-level design. There's an attempt to work on quality and convergence of standards, among other things, in the silver economy to meet the different needs of seniors. Now, for our local silver economy and how we can align that with national development, German technology is a good place to start. In recent years, the government has been promoting the R&D and commercialization of German technology. In this area, especially in application, we have seen success stories. For example, the 3 graduates from the HK formed a startup. They designed a mobile app involving a remote sensing system. The user can simply look at the camera for 15 seconds, and then the app can capture your oxygen level, your heart rate. The accuracy rate is 98%, and it is even recognized by the Food and Drugs Administration in the US, and that shows our health app is now at the international level. Another tech firm has also gone beyond the traditional emergency alarm system. We now use radar and sensors to gather data on seniors' daily lives. When someone has a fall, the system picks that up, and there's AI analysis, and then the support centers and family members are alerted right away, and that can minimize accidents. For stroke patients and patients with Parkinson's disease, startups have developed mobile apps. The Electrical and Mechanical Services Department and the Hospital Authority also developed a dementia test app and also an AI-based testing system. They're using the mixed reality system and the smart goggles to perform cognitive skill tests for seniors, and the AI helps us analyze the results, so that enables early intervention and early diagnosis. The data is provided by these technology. The success stories here show that in German technology, we have robust R&D capacity, and we can conduct cross-disciplinary studies. But our own silver market is limited. To overcome this barrier, we will have to work with the rest of the GBA. We have international standards. We have global connections. The mainland has an enormous manufacturing base and an enormous market. We should work with the mainland, and then we can complement each other. The core of German technology lies in artificial intelligence and big data analytics. We should work with the mainland about creating a cross-boundary health platform. We should do that as a trial. Hong Kong's R&D team should have access to mainland health data, and that will ensure greater success in training AI models, and this will help us better meet the needs of the mainland. The HAUST has an Alzheimer blood test system and also an AI monitoring system. With better data, we can have better systems, and that will improve the implementation of the systems. On quality assurance and accreditation, the market likes our products. We have the Q-mark system, and also we have the silver-friendly system. Last year, our care food standard was included in the GBA standard. That shows our local standards are now recognized by our country. As a next step, we should promote the inclusion of more German technological products in our country system. We should work with our GBA partners on a unified product standard. With the accreditation, our products can enter the mainland market, and that will help the mainland silver industry upgrade. And that will unlock a huge market for our tech firms. In the long term, we should create a cross-boundary rental and sale system of silver products, so that products recognized here can be sold and rented out in the mainland, and we can help mainland silver products go global, and we can also bring in overseas silver products to the mainland. We test the products to ensure the quality, and then everyone will be comfortable with the quality, and then we can all work together to make our silver industry more competitive as so submit. Mr. Lam Chen-Sing. Thank you, Mr. Deputy. Grappling with the aging population is now a national mission, and the National 15th Five-Year Plan also proposes improvements to the silver industry. And we should unleash the silver age group, and we should find more job opportunities suitable for seniors. The government here is working on the first 5-year plan. coping with an aging population will be a key matter. The conventional view is that with an aging workforce, that will be bad for our labor force and the economy. But then the International Monetary Fund released a study. They looked at 41 developed and emerging economies. Seniors now are in a better health and of sound mind. Back in 2020, someone aged 70 in 2020 had the same cognitive skills as someone aged 53 back in the year 2000. Seniors are healthier, so they can work longer with policies such as allowing greater flexibility for jobs and also on-the-job training and pushing back the retirement age. With these measures, we will be able to mitigate the impact of an aging population on the economy. The SCR government has also been promoting the silver economy and silver employment. Can we take a step further? Take Shanghai as an example. This March, the municipal government worked with 28 departments to launch a proposal. That proposal is about supporting and encouraging seniors to take part in the economy. Departments are encouraged to get businesses involved to promote and provide elderly-friendly jobs. Seniors are hired to test products, and different departments are encouraged to hire retired technical officers. In Hong Kong, there is still selection in hiring. For those senior age job seekers, they're still struggling. The Labor Department has a code of conduct on eliminating ageism at the workplace. We should look at how employers are complying with this code. If just a few comply with the code, can we consider legislating against ageism? For employers hiring seniors or providing flexible hours for seniors, can we consider tax breaks for such employers or other forms of financial incentives? For businesses, we should also provide bespoke, enterprise-based training sessions for the seniors, and then upon training, those seniors can go ahead to work. When suitable posts arise, can we push back the retirement age for civil service jobs to 66 or 67? Can we get businesses to hire more senior workers? And in our overall plan, we should look at setting the performance indicator involving the labor force participation rate of the silver-haired group. We have not just a local market, we also should look at the mainland, which promises huge potential. The mainland silver economy is roughly 7 trillion RMB. By 2030, that market can reach 30 trillion RMB. Based on the HKTDC study, many mainland seniors bought services from Hong Kong. They used the services for Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities in the mainland. The middle class there have money to spend. They want a better life. So we should come up with more GBA standards, especially for silver products and services. Our care food standard was included in the GBA standards. That was a success story. The standard helped the industry offer better product, and that also makes it easier for our products to enter the mainland market. I so submit and support the motion.
Mr. Chen Yong. Thank you, Deputy President. I would like to thank the two government officials for attending this motion debate. I very much support the original motion and amendments. We have to align the development of silver economy with the national strategy. I want to talk about how we should expedite development of a silver economy for the elderly population. The National 15 Five-Year Plan talks about how we need to actively respond to population aging. We need to have a comprehensive elderly care service network as well as have diversified options for elderly persons. Presidents see that we should have respect for the elderly, and this is a part of the Chinese culture. What measures happiness in society is how happy elderly persons are, and the chief executive is committed to enhance elderly care. As we see two government officials here, there is, in a way, synergy between developing silver economy and labor and welfare. And the lifespan of females in Hong Kong can go up to 88. For males, it's 83. And the U.S. President Donald Trump is 80 years old. And you can see he still works well in his recent visit to the country. Many elderly persons between 60 and 80 are still very healthy, and how can we really leverage on their intelligence and their other strengths? We want to make sure in law we can help these people who are very much capable of working. The DAB actively responded to the establishment of the Working Group on Aging Society Strategies. We also have representatives in the working group. I recently took part in a study done by a professor of the Metropolitan University. He talked about having the many professionals in Hong Kong who have already retired to start working again. And it's about how we can integrate their professional expertise, their wisdom and knowledge to solve problems. This can help alleviate the manpower gap. It can also enhance the quality of their retirement life, because they would see quite a long retirement if we have a lifespan of 80 to 90 years old. So there's great potential in developing silver economy. We want to make sure retired professionals want to take part in consulting or part-time jobs. We want to make sure we cover their health care and insurance so that elderly persons who are capable will rejoin the labor force. We may need to amend labor legislation for that purpose. Let's look at the experience in neighboring regions. For example, Japan. Japan has 1,300 silver manpower resource centers providing job matching services for elderly persons, and Singapore also provides support to those who are aged 63 to 68 to be reemployed. And according to the study of the professor I mentioned earlier, for elderly persons who are willing to rejoin the labor force, 30% of them have not been able to find jobs, and 1/3 of the elderly survey respondents already have flexible working arrangements. So I think there is great potential for us to really tap into the potential of the Silver Group. I so submit.